Hello, bonjour, beautiful, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one that was highly requested on my Instagram, and that is a full face of drugstore makeup that I actually use or would recommend. Now, as I get comfy to sit down and do some makeup, I hope you're doing the same. Pause here and grab your fave beverage, and then let's get into it. Starting with foundation, I'm using a newer product. This is Maybelline's Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. Mine is in the shade Vanilla. It's slightly dark on me, but the undertone is just right for my complexion with a neutral base, so I went with it. I'm blending it out with my Morphe sponge, which I consider to be drugstore with its low price point. I'm pretty sure it's under $10. As I go to blend this out, you can see this foundation is not full coverage, it's more of a medium to light, which is perfect for every day. Moving on to concealer, I'm using Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in shade Ivory. Now I'm dispensing this on the back of my hand so that I can warm it up, with my finger. This is so that the product will go a little bit further. I don't use very much, and by warming it up, I make it go even further, and it blends into my skin nicer. And as I've told you guys before, the less product you have under your eyes, the less creasing you will have. Now I'm using Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in shade Fair Light. I thought it was shade Fair, as you see on the confusion on my face right now, but it actually worked out pretty good. This brush is actually a e.l.f. concealer brush, and I highly recommend for setting under your eyes. I used a bigger fluffy brush here to set the rest of my face. I don't always do this, but for the sake of this video, I thought I'd show you that you could use this loose powder all over your face, not just under your eyes. Moving on to brows, I am going in with my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in shade Brunette. I didn't fast forward anything for you guys here. I wanted to show you real time what I would do to fill in my brows with a pencil. Always starting at the front and then working my way back towards the tail. Brushing out your brows is key, especially when using products like a pencil. This allows the product to be dispersed a little bit more and avoid getting those really blocky brows unless that's your preferred style. Now you can see me brushing my brow hairs down so that I can get a better view and idea of where I need to build up my arch. Setting my brows with Maybelline Great Lash in Clear. Now for bronzer, I'm using Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in shade Bronzer. As you can see, I've definitely hit pan on this guy. That's because it is my most used drugstore product in my personal kit. This bronzer is not too warm and not too cool, and it's a little bit more on the sheer side, which makes it great for building. Moving on to blush, I'm using Milani's Baked Blush in shade Luminoso. Now, warning, this guy is pigmented, so make sure you're tapping off excess. It is also luminous, as the name suggests, I suppose, so just be careful to use a light hand. Highlight today is e.l.f. Cosmetics Baked Highlight in shade Moonlight Pearls. Now this is kind of a funny product. When you purchase it, you do have to actually scrape off the first layer of this. Otherwise, it's more of like a chalky consistency. But once you scrape that off, it is a beautiful everyday highlight without any glitter. For eyeshadow, I am going back into my bronzer because I'm not a huge fan of the drugstore eyeshadows. Now, this is simply going to make my eyes look bigger. So I'm placing this right in my crease, and you can see that it just instantly shapes and lifts my eye. Later, you'll see I also add this underneath my eye. Following up with L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in shade Amber Rush. This is really beautiful and is a dupe for those Hourglass Scattered Lights eyeshadows I like to use all the time. And I also would recommend applying with your finger for more color payoff and less fallout. For eyeliner, I'm using NYX Epic Ink Liner shade Black. This is just a simple felt tip liner and makes it super easy to do any kind of lining, whether it's just a straight line across or a little wing like I'm doing here. Curling my lashes and moving on to mascara with, you guessed it, my L'Oreal Voluminous Original in Blackest Black. Almost done, you guys. Moving on to lip liner with my NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in shade Cannes. Now that's spelled C-A-N-N-E-S, like Cannes, Italy. And yes, that's how you pronounce it. I had to Google it. I went ahead and filled my lips in entirely with this shade to avoid another product like lipstick. Now for my favorite gloss is NYX Butter Gloss in shade Creme Brulee. Now to set, I'm moving on with Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is a new purchase for me, but I absolutely love it. Here's the final look. I hope this inspires those of you who thought you couldn't get into makeup because of your budget. And I've listed everything down below with links and prices of each product. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, and subscribe to see future content. Stay beautiful and be a light to those around you. Cheers.